Give me just a second, everybody, as I get this all started up. Share it over to my 2 pages real fast, and then we'll get going. Hold on one second. Mama, I done told you I'm getting ready to do my Breaking the Cage show. So that's what you're hearing, is me talking to the show, getting ready to get started. Now, you guys know I take care of my mama, so she just recently woke up and is like, what's going on? And she's like, why? Who are you talking to? So don't be surprised if she wanders up in here and I end up talking to her during the night show. Anyway, this is Breaking the Cage. It is Astrology TV with the Matrix Minds Media. And this is for, what? This is for July. Listen to me. I'm already trying to skip way into the year. This is for January 23rd through the 29th. Now, before I get into everything that I'm told to go through with my spirit guides and so forth, I want to first light some incense, because I try to make sure that I'm keeping it all nice and positive energy, going around while I'm doing this. And I love this moldavite incense. In case you've never seen it before, I'll show it to you in just a second. Because, I don't know, I just love that incense. But it's a moldavite incense. Maybe if I turn it over, I don't know. But anyway, it's an awesome incense. I'm just letting you know in case you're interested, so you can maybe look it up and find it for yourself. This is, like I said, Breaking the Cage from January 23rd through 29th. We just came off of that new moon. It was more or less in Aquarius, but all that energy was coming, right from Capricorn and into it. So we're starting to look at moving forward, but not so fast. Before I get into all of this week, the blueprint, what my guides are telling me, let me also slow down for just a second. I always want to thank Matt and the Matrix Mind Media before I do anything on the show for just allowing us to come on, or me to come on and do this show and bring the Breaking the Cage, the weekly healing messages, astrology, all of that kind of information to you. As well as I always send out, remember that Matt makes those wired necklaces and stuff. He has his swag shop where you can always buy Matrix Mind, Matrix Mind Media, like t-shirts and hats and stuff like that. You could always contact him and, find something there that you might be interested in. As well as, I want to just bring up, before I get into tonight's show, I'm not big on Valentine's Day. I just never have been a very big fan of Valentine's Day. So I've decided to declare February for now on soul food month. So I'm going to be steering not just directly at Valentine's in general, but at, self-love, self-healing, things along that line. And with that being said, I am going to have a special sale for the month of February, where it is buy 2 items and get 1 for free. And this goes for all of my essential oils, my spray mists, my baths, my orgone, so forth. But it's 2 items, get 1 free. And or if you buy more than 3 items, then you could be looking at personalized kits. And a lot of people, because if you bought the stuff from me through the holidays, through Christmas, Yule, and so forth, I had like a 50% off sale. I recently had pulled a lot of my products out of a store that was, carrying them and housing them. So I was trying to get rid of a lot of them. I didn't want to be sitting on those products. Well, I can't do the 50% off sale anymore, but I can still do a 30% off sale for, that soul food month as I'm looking at it. So if you're interested, you can contact me directly. We can personalize kits for each and every one of you, what it is that best fits you. Like I said, I make mystical oils. I make mystical oils. I make emotional oils, spiritual oils, just soul food in general. It's oils, sprays, mists, baths, so forth. And if you're making a personalized kit, it's going to be 30% off the entire kit by the time we're done with whatever you choose to purchase, or 2 for 1. Also, until February begins, my sales for my mentorship, which is like typically a 1-hour reading / mentorship / consultation, shamanistic, meaning it could go into astrology, it could go into cards, it could go into, the blueprint, it could go anywhere. Wherever it needs to go is where I take those mentorships. They're an hour long, and typically they're going to be, all my prices are going to be rising in February. So for them, for the astrology coaching, for the rays of light, for the moon phases, this last week is the last week they're going to be at sale at the prices that you've known them to be at. They're going to move to what their permanent prices are going to be, and you're going to see a major change. So I'm giving you that last minute warning. Even if you want to book appointments in February, this last week is the last time to get it at that price. Anyway, with that being said, let's get into this week. I had a special visitor to help me, kind of work out some of the kinks as we're, coming into this month, as we're beginning this month. Not this month, but this year. Because of the major changes that are going to start taking place. Like I was saying last week, you're going to see in March, you are going to see Saturn move into Pisces. And in March, you're going to see at the end of the March, you're going to see Capricorn move into Aquarius. Then we're also going to notice Jupiter is moving into Taurus in April. So right now, we're kind of, the way Spirit put it to me was funny. It's kind of like, the best way I know how to explain it for many people is, like in the morning, you're like, not until I've had my coffee. No. My brain doesn't work quite right. Nothing is ready until I've had my coffee. Okay. But the thing is we're also getting immune to our coffees. So it's kind of like it's not working quite the same anymore. And they're like, you're kind of in one of those moments where we're seeing forward movement happen, but we're not seeing everything we need to see just yet. Everything hasn't completely fallen into place. Remember that you just had, what was it, today, Uranus went direct. You had Mercury that just went direct. You have Mars that just went direct. But remember, they're all still in a shadow period. You still have approximately at least 2.5 weeks of shadow, at least just for Mercury, okay? And Mercury is your communication. It's your inward communication coming into outward communication. The seriousness and the energy that you've been feeling is starting to lighten. But it's not really lightening, it's shifting. But it feels like it's lightening because we're not in a retrograde energy anymore. It's moving out. And like I said, as I started this, is I had a visitor because I will be one of the ones who will admit, I do from time to time get visitors from the different aliens, from the Pleiadians and so forth. And I had a blue avian come to me and give me some information to help us see through some of this energy. Like I said, as we're working through this week specifically, but also understand the energy of what's coming in the next 2 months and help us have a better understanding of it. One of the things that I was given from them is blue avian starseeds, or blue avians in general, they're known to regenerate their energy through their thinking process. This has a lot to do with what we're going to be dealing with for this year. They regenerate their energy from their thinking process. It's not the same as like we have our drinks and our food. Their energy is coming from how they are using their head, how they are thinking. Okay, and this is part of what they explained and gave it to me in this form for, because they're wanting us to understand the true nature of reality a little better than what we have. They're wanting us to have and understand that higher spirituality and sensitivity, because that comes with your empath energy as you're starting to wake up energy, as you're starting to come into your intuition energy, your psychic energy. This is your spirituality, its growth, your sensitivity kind of going back and forth. And with the energies that are going to be coming in the next couple of months, this is definitely a growth spurt, like I said, but it's kind of like they were explaining, it's you haven't had coffee yet. Just remember that. We're still sipping on our coffee. We're still understanding. Because a lot of this has a lot to do with us growing and learning how to come into our next levels of consciousness. The Blue Avians were reminding us a part of what they try to teach is a lot of what we're going to be going throughout this year, especially in the next 3 months as this all starts. Okay? And they're speaking to us of self-mastery, but also of self-reflection. And this is where I come in and I say a lot of times, it's your muchierness. I stole it from Alice in Wonderland. If you've never heard me say that before, if you've never seen the show before, so I have a hair, and where I use that in one of the movies, I can't remember which one of the movies that was Alice in Wonderland, you know, Alice went back and she's like a teenager, and the Mad Hatter is like, but, you know, when you were here the first time, you were just so much more muchier. And this is what we're getting at, that true soul mastery, true soul, as I've been saying it, authenticity of what we are, our true self-realization. No shaman, no psychic, no person who deals with spirituality and, you know, psychic energy or healer or anything along that line just woke up one day and had all of their shit together. No. None of us do. I mean, it is just for a normal human being, even one who's not awake. It takes a lot of real depth, soulful, inward searching just to know who you are. How often, especially in my line of work, I see this and I see it a lot, where, you know, people think they know who they are, but they think they know who they think they are. They're not necessarily seeing the big picture of themselves. They're seeing the parts of themselves that they want to see, that they can understand. The stuff that's more jaded and more confused and, you know, just up here of the unconsciousness, a lot of times we don't know this about ourselves. We, you know, like Mad Hatter, okay? I mean, like, he walks around like, I mean, dressed crazy, and he's a Mad Hatter. Shamans are known for their crazy masks. You know, people are coming more into truly being completely confident, cool, and comfortable within themselves. But this is a self-reflection. But this also means that we have to learn to understand our emotional sides, our truths, our depths. And then what I'm getting with this is Absalom, when he's smoking the hookah, and he's like, who are you? A lot of what you're going through this year, and what you've been going through the last couple years, has been leading you to exactly that. Who are you? Because we're learning to see ourselves from a more spiritual, more sensitive, more psychic, higher dimensional energy. And we have to allow ourselves to get there, but we're still having our coffee. We're still learning parts about ourselves. Then I'm reminded by them, as I look into this energy, is that this is the year of the rabbit. Now see, rabbits are the year of the rabbit in general, according to Chinese mythology and stuff. It's supposed to be a water rabbit, and it's supposed to be peaceful and patient in energy. But it speaks to you about longevity. It speaks to you about peace and building that prosperity. But the key word here is patience. Rabbit is known for luck. But why is it known for luck? Not because of the little rabbit lucky keychain, no. It's known for luck because it's also known for fear. The rabbit is one of the tiny little animals that has so many predators that are out to get it. It had to learn to be wise. It had to learn to be quick, agile, smart, trust in its intuition. It learned how to be resourceful, bounce back. This is all part of where we're coming from. The longevity of trusting in ourselves. It's also a water rabbit that we're speaking of what this year is. Water is your emotional differences. Hold on just 1 second. It is your emotional indifferences and understanding how to handle and deal with that. As we grow, water is an ebb and flow. It's like the lake, but it is also a tsunami. It is also, a hurricane. It's water can take on many typhoon. It can take on many things and be destructive just as much as it can ebb and flow. This is speaking to us about emotionally maturing and controlling our emotions as we grow, controlling our thinking, but being able to stick with who and what we are and stick to the grounded energy, as we ebb and flow, as we move, as we start to learn more about ourselves. Ultimately, all of this is speaking to us, as they put it in the Blue Avians, as kind of like critiquing our aim, critiquing our believing, critiquing our game. But it's especially critiquing our beliefs. In the sense of, right now, we have everything that just went forward. New moon in Aquarius is innovative. It wants to open up and try new things, but it came out of Capricorn and so much Mars energy. So this is speaking to us of truly going, let's sit down, let's have our coffee, let's look over everything. Yes, we're moving forward, but are we aiming big enough? Are we really seeing everything that we are capable of? Or do we need to critique some things and then adjust and add that in? Don't lower your goals, your dreams, your ambitions to settling. Be bold enough to think big, to see big, to make the game bigger, to make you bigger. Hence your muchierness. Nothing and nobody can take all of the power of what you are away from you. But you've got to remember to call it all back. We are critiquing this timing as we are about to see these major changes start to take place, especially in March and April. And I am being given at this time, not just is this year a water rabbit, speaking to you about creating luck by being resourceful, not being in your fear, but being resourceful, being quick, being smart, trusting your intuition, and going with what you know, going with the flow, instead of getting trapped in the heavier energies. As well as I'm being given a goat and I'm being given a lion. And a goat is telling us, again, to watch our step. It's reminding us to watch our step because with that rabbit energy, there are predators. So make sure that you have good footing about the foundations that you are creating. But then the lion is coming through saying, again, what the Blue Avians was trying to teach. Think bigger. Step into that muchier energy. Step into the true you. A clown can't be a clown and without, doing the decoration of putting themselves all together. A drag queen. I love drag queens. Nobody can out-bitch a bitch better than a drag queen. And she will make sure to come in and make you want to be a better bitch about yourself because she is getting to the root. That depth. This is what we're talking about. I'm not telling you to go out and be a drag queen. I'm not telling you to start dressing up, you know, do dreads to become crazy shaman like me. I'm telling you, what is your muchierness? Start investing in it. Start investing in that soul food that's going to help you to be that resourceful, quick, trusting in your intuition and changing as you are growing. But I'm also being reminded, and I've been saying this a lot lately, is we are seeing some better things happening at the same time. You have to remember, I was having a conversation with someone today who is, you know, do you believe in God and stuff? And I look at the situation of, well, I believe in God. I just don't believe he's some man in the sky. I believe he's an energy, yes. But the conversation that we had was, well, then do you believe in the devil? And I was like, yeah, but in any book you've ever read, has God killed the devil yet? There's always a plan for the positive and the negative. Sorry, but there is. There is always a necessary need for the positive and the negative. Without the negative, you would never know the positive. And what I'm trying to say here is we're learning boundaries. So many people are starting to move into a place in our lives where we're really starting to invest in ourselves, and we're starting to put up boundaries, and we're having problems with some of these relationships. The spirit just put it to me, having growth problems with relationships because of grief, sorrow, shame, blame, insecurities within these relationships, which are based off of these boundaries. And spirit likes to remind me that, you know, who doesn't like to be thanked? Who doesn't like to be reminded? We always say when you're working in your manifestation, when you're more gracious, when you're thankful for it, when you pay more attention to the positives, more positives will come. But at the same time, your spirit guides and your, you know, family, your ancestral, they're going to be with you no matter what. But at the same time, when you respond to them and you love them, and they love you back, there's a good common give and take here. When it's just, hey, can I have, hey, I need, hey, this is where the boundaries start to come in. And it's not just on a spiritual level, this is in your natural relationships. Perfect example. I do smoke, and I'm a generous person, and I had somebody recently who was just like, you know, hey, can I bump a cigarette? Okay. Hey, can I bump a cigarette? Okay. Hey, can I? No. I'm generous, but you're not going to continue to take advantage of me. Go out and buy your own shit. You have to know when to set that line and when not, because generosity can quit just like that. And that is not being a negative person. That is not being a self-centered or narcissistic person. It is saying, as we're coming into ourselves, it is good to be a good person. It is good, like I've been saying lately, I've been seeing so many people, you know, where I work, starting to pick up the bill for somebody else who's like $1 or $2 short. And that's nice, you know, but that doesn't mean get used to it, that somebody's going to continue to do that for you. It's saying, know where your boundaries are, know how to set them, and stand firmly in them. Be generous, but don't be taken advantage of. There's a big soul learning here in that boundary process. And they're wanting me to explain this into finer terms, right down to, y'all are still having your coffee. It's time to wake up to the newer levels of consciousness. Like I keep saying lately when I'm speaking to everybody, are you still on autopilot? From that zeal point, is the zeal point still being affected from the negative energies from being on autopilot? Or are you controlling that brain? Are you in charge of it? Are you realizing when autopilot is jerking you around? This is all part of that newer consciousness. It's not newer. It's just a lot of you are learning to step into it in areas that you haven't been on that higher dimensional area. Like I said, this is why I was given that blue avian, not given her, but this is why she came and had this conversation with me. It is about being gentle, being peaceful, but still being able to be like, nah, Bitch, I said no. Being able to be in your power without being ruthless. Because you will see a lot of that also coming forward. Now, as I give forward here, let me see what else I have. I pretty much covered all that. So now I'm going to get into the blueprint. And I'm actually going to work backwards from the blueprint. And the reason why, and in case you've never followed me before, I do the blueprint as well as the astrology and what Spirit gives me, because I want you to have a bigger soulful connection here. I want your minds opening bigger, not just from an astrological point of view, but from how it affects your body, your chakras, and how that affects your life as well, not just your thinking. Because your body is always going to vibrate technically lower than what your brain can. But your brain has the choice of you taking control over it and hitting in those higher dimensions. But your body still has all of the baggage of the lower dimensions that it still has to clear. So it's harder for the body to stay in that higher dimensional energy. When the mind can get there, like I said, a lot of people will do this through astral travel, through journeying when they're sleeping, because they're turned off and they can still work, but their body hasn't learned how to catch up yet. And this is what a lot of the work is about, is learning how to truthfully bring it into reality and be responsible for what you're creating in reality. Seeing it as we're bringing it forward. Hold on. Because like I said, you are going to have in March, and you're going to start feeling these energies now. Okay? Especially now. They've been here for a while, but now they're getting to like crunch time right before they shift. And so whatever you haven't worked out is going to start tweaking, especially the bottom parts of the body. And the lower parts of the body are the more lower vibrational parts. This is what most people, healers, several healers still are just on your 7 chakras, and they don't explain this shit to you. And they don't explain the fact that you can work on those 7 chakras all day and all night long. But if you ain't working on the chakras that are beneath those 7, you're wasting your time, because they're just going to sift up and into the other chakras. You're not truly cleaning it and truly working on your vibration and your soulful healing energy till you start acknowledging these things. Because these are some of the biggest negative points that you have got to bring into your consciousness, into healing and acceptance and loving your way through it, in order for those other 7 chakras to actually be truly glowing and positive and, fruitful. That's what they just said. Fruitful in your vibrational growth. And I was saying you're going to have Saturn move out of Aquarius and into Pisces. You're going to have Capricorn, after 20 years almost, is only going to move from March until July, I think it is, and then it's going to backtrack, but that's still going to be over there. Then it's going to go back, and then it's going to come back again right around the 1st of 2024. So for the next year, these energies in the bottom part of your chakras are highly important for your spiritual growth. Now, I'm going to walk you through this, because a lot of you don't even know the names of them, haven't experienced them, don't have any knowledge of them. The Satella is the chakra for the knees. It is governed by Capricorn. This is where Pluto has been, okay, for almost 20 years. This is where all the planets have been running through. Venus, Sun, Mercury still here, okay? It's Capricorn energy. Salatella is the knees. It is dealing with jealousy. It is dealing with competition. It is dealing with inferiority. It is dealing with inadequacy. It is dealing with helplessness and fear. So this is, your knees are responsible for being able to make you bump up and down, step up and down, bend, sit, run. They're responsible for carrying the weight of everything above the knee. And you're talking about your communication still here, which has been in retrograde in the knees, along with Pluto, death, decay, and destruction for renewal, rebirth, regeneration of everything soulfully that you're scared to let go of, holding on to that competition, holding on to that three-dimensional jealousy, holding on to that inferiority, holding on to that helplessness, the belief, like I said, the blue avians are saying, need you to be able to believe bigger. Getting into those higher dimensions. And you've got Pluto, who's going to be leaving this energy and moving into Talatala. Talatala is the calves and Razatala, which is the calves and the ankles. Okay? Which is also where Saturn is, but Saturn's about to move out of here. And this is speaking to you of the Aquarius energy. Now, the thing about these chakras are in the body, which nobody seems to understand or put out or explain to anybody, is Aquarius is the, you know, the water bearer, pulling the higher waters of energy down into the earth and teaching us these things, helping us to see it. But Aquarius is forget to be part of humanity. They remember the part of what we need to teach. They want to do part of all of the good things, but they forget to add themselves to the list, just like other air signs. Like I say for Libras all the time, Libras, you've got to get on the scale. You can't be the scale. You have to be on it. Same thing here. Aquarius is pulling the waters down into the body and into our knowledge. But what is there is the lack of the knowledge. And this is the area of where the growth takes place. Prolonged confusion in the calves. Manipulation. Because of the prolonged confusion. How can I get what I need to get? I'll manipulate my way through it. I'll talk my way through it. I'll be greedy. I'll push and shove. I'll make it happen. This has a lot to do with how your ankles and your feet work and how they move you. This is why they tell you in so many different stories that you should be blessing your feet. Your feet and the lower part of the legs are responsible for all the negatives that we hold in us. All the greed, all of the negative things. I'm going to go over it with you, but this is helping us see these energies that we have to acknowledge and where they start to act up. I'll be the first one to tell you, in my blueprint, my Jupiter is in retrograde in my calf, and the more I'm in the three-dimensional ego crap, the more my calf is killing me, to the point I've had to learn to take tuning forks and use the tuning fork to remove the blockage. I'm trying to help you see that this is definitely something that we're working from the feet, from the ground, from the foundation up and into all the chakras, into the true healing. Not just our mindfulness, not just our heart, but into our body. How else are we going to actually get to where we're vibrating in the vibrations we need to get into those higher levels of consciousness? We cannot afford to ignore these things. You have, like I said, you have Capricorn, which has Pluto here, moving into these energies. Death, decay, and destruction. For renewal, rebirth, and regeneration. And as I always put Pluto, it's though I walk through the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Talking about prolonged confusion, greed, push and shove energy, taking advantage of people, manipulation. That's just the calves. When you get into the actual ankles, it's selfishness, me first energy. Not caring about what it does to other people. I have to come first. I have to take care of me. Screw you. And you are going to see that Pluto trying to influence and push that negative out of people because they're trying to grow. Right now you've had Saturn here pushing rules, walls, and boundaries. But Saturn is about to move into Mahatala, which is the top of the feet. This is where you get into the energies of steal, take. I believe it's mine because, well, fuck it, it's mine. If I can think about it, if I can touch it, if I can see it, it's mine. This world didn't give me nothing, so I'm going to take. Take. This is the beginning of And hear me, because this is a word you're never going to hear often or ever. Consciencelessness. Consciencelessness. Meaning I don't care. I have no conscience about it. I have no feeling bad about what I'm doing. You're getting into deeper levels of negativity. And you're now putting Saturn here going, if you can't grow, that push and shove is going to get worse. So it's important for you to realize how some of these people are going to be, but for you to realize how to come into your power and that peaceful energy, your muchierness. It cannot be taken away from you, but at the same time, be in your boundaries. Yes, I was helpful. Yes, I was helpful. Okay, now you need to learn your lesson now. Doesn't mean that you got to bark back. You've got Patala, which is actually the bottom of the feet. And this is the worst energy. This is why they are shown in all different mythologies throughout the world of why you're supposed to bless your feet. Why? Because the bottom of your feet fits to the actual earth, but it doesn't speak to earth in the way that you think it does. Earthing is not always good. It's not always good for you to go walking around barefooted in any place in the world. I mean, there are insane asylums. There are places that are connected to very negative energies. And mark my words, and as long as this planet has been alive, there has been death on every single spot on this planet, whether it was plant, death, or human, or animals. So this planet has seen all the good and all the bad. And the negatives that we could pull up into us, just as easily as we could pull in, the grounding of the positive energies. That starts off right off with revenge. Your feet will walk you everywhere they go. Your feet are responsible for every place you go. Your ankles are responsible for being able to turn and take you every place you go. Then going into the calves and up into the knees, where it's responsible for everything. And you're looking at Saturn and Pluto moving into these energies. And Patala is revenge, murder, torture, full-on just destruction. Without consciousness, I don't care. I have to have what I have to have. And you're going to see more of that come out as well. So this is why it's important for you to get in your place of water flow, of ebb and flow. You're in your patience of being able to stand in your power, but also in your boundaries. Because this is taking a major shift. You have, for the regular part of the body, you're going to be seeing that for the next 6 months. And I'm going to keep bringing it up because it's highly important for you to understand that. Now, you have Jupiter, which is still on the third eye. You have Juno, which is still on the third eye, but it is also going on to the ears. So this is speaking to the zeal point, which is connected to the spinal column, connected to every chakra all the way down from the feet and working its way up. And it is helping you to understand what you are sending through in your energies. Jupiter is the third eye. Juno is the keys to the knowledge, the sacrifice, and the commitment in that first house in your head, how you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're thinking. Being responsible for that. Then you have Chiron, which is on the tongue, speaking up for yourself. Actually, literally being able to speak up for yourself. The North Node is on the jugular again, being able to speak and breathe. Your Uranus is on the vocal cords, which just went direct. So we're starting to feel the seriousness lighten up. We're starting to feel in ourselves, I feel less restricted. I feel a little bit more me, but you're not fully back to you. You still have some tweaking going on. This is why I said the blue avians keep giving me a nope. It's coffee. Morning coffee. You have Mars, which is still attached to the heart energy. It's the bronchial tubes, and it is the pulmonary artery. And Mars itself is dealing with the Gemini energy, your yin and yang, your twins coming into that heart energy and how that works. Then you have Palace, which is the gastric energy. It is how you are digesting everything that you're going through. So I'm talking to you about your chakras. I'm talking to you about the energies that you're holding within you, and understanding when the body may be acting up according to what is actually being stored in it. Like I said, the body holds a lower vibration than the mind does, unless the mind is in the lower vibrational thinking. And it's important for us to understand this. You have Lilith, which is still in the heart. So you have a lot of heart energy, actual breathing energy. Breathing is life force. Being able to work with your ability to speak, breathe, think. Where can you take your life? A lot of this has to do with your butchiness. Getting back to your authenticity. Getting back to slowing down and truly going after what is important to you. And stop wasting your time in all the other. Stop wasting your time in it. Stop giving the energy to it. Don't focus in it. Doesn't mean ignore it. Like I said, there's going to be people who are going to be nice to, but eventually you're going to have to put them in their place. Then you have Sirius, which is not the Sirius star, Sirius, which is also known for the threefold. She is speaking to you in the kidneys and the nervous system. A lot of this energy, Spirit keeps reminding me, has a lot to do with the back chakras. We open up the front chakras and we pay attention. Just like the thymus and the zeal point, most people ignore. And this is forgiveness and acceptance. It's not just the love from the front. You have to pay attention to, I'm sorry, but you have to pay attention to your back doors. These chakras are life force chakras, and making sure that we are seeing both forward and backwards in front of us. You are looking at your full aura energy, your full around, all the way around you energy, your circumference of you, as they just put it, and coming into being responsible for it as we move forward. Now, let me take a sip of my drink and I'll get into the actual astrology, and we're out of the blueprint. You have a lot of energies going on with Sirius this week. Not Sirius, I'm sorry, with Lilith this week. And Spirit is pointing me into paying very close attention to that Lilith energy, because Lilith is in the heart. It's in the 5th house. It's your creativity. It's your ability to create and express yourself. I always say that 5th house is one of the most important houses, because if you're not here living this life for you, I mean, yes, we all came back with, in a form, chores to do. We all came back with karmic debts to heal. We all came back with, let's set up for a new tomorrow. Let's make the world a better place. You have a responsibility as to what you came back for. But you didn't just come back for that. You came back to be alive. You came back to be alive, to experience, to try, to take part. Are you taking part? Are you enjoying it? Or is this just a task? The 5th house is your expression. It's where we meet our loved ones, our soul tribe and family, where we find, things that we like to do. It's our creativity. It's our pursuit of pleasure. It's our habits. It's our drama, creation, expression, dating, dancing, romance, sex, lovers, sports. What do you enjoy in life? Do you have time to enjoy what you want to enjoy in life? Lilith here is a little bit on the narcissistic side, but in this case, it's a good thing. It's going, do you remember what you want to do in life? I'm giving you the fire to take back. Take back your life. Take back yourself. Take back the energy of, I want to be part of this world and I want to enjoy it. But she's directly connected with the heart chakra right now in Leo. She's directly connected with the forceful energy of how the heart is acting And it is not getting along with that South Node. The South Node is in that 8th house, the reproductive system. It's how we rebirth, death, decay, and destruction, for renewal, rebirth, regeneration. Technically, that is what Scorpio is. It's a form of rebirthing. The South Node is everything that you're good at, but you've gotten comfortable with, so it doesn't serve you anymore. So where is it that you're comfortable with the relationships that are keeping you from enjoying your life? I'm sorry, I have hair on my tongue. Where is it that it's going, it's okay to do this and to do this and to be helpful? Like I said earlier, the Blue Avian came in and reminded us, it's good to be generous. It's good to be helpful. But at the same time, you've got to stand in your power and know, not anymore. Now you're taking advantage of it. Are they keeping you from your growth? Are they keeping you from your muchierness? Are they keeping you from being able to explore and enjoy life? Because you need to be able to keep this in balance. You also have it's not getting along with the North Node, which is everything you need to learn in order to move forward. The North Node is in Taurus, speaking about justifying to yourself and the world around you, because you still believe that you need to justify it, the fact of integrity. I don't have to put up with this. I deserve this. Fighting with your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. Questioning it. The North Node is everything you need to know in order to move forward. It's not a fight. You just have to reclaim it. You can do this peacefully. Simple. Say no. This time I need to do this for me, for my growth, for my life, for my family. It is definitely not getting along with Pluto. Lilith is not. Death, decay, and destruction. The outer world is making you feel the authority of the outer world, whether it's your careers, your jobs, your honor, your reputation, because the 10th house is where Pluto still is. Death, decay, and destruction, for renewal, rebirth, regeneration, and the authority of the outer world. It is your job, society, and everything outside of you. The authority of how your life will be, but it does mix with your groups and your memberships of that outer world. And this is where I'm saying, is this connection free-flowing? Is there an ebb and flow, or is it more like a typhoon, more like forcing you into an energy? Lilith is warning, your heart cannot take it. Your heart is saying, from a heart perspective, from a heart chakra perspective, I've got to love me. I've got to love my life. I've got to love where I'm going in my life. And if the authority of that outer world is trying to tell me that I don't deserve to love me, yeah, then we got a problem. And it's trying to make you learn to step up into that muchierness, into your power, into that higher consciousness. It has got very unpredictable energies going on with Saturn and Lilith. Now, this can be good, but it can also be bad. Depends on where your mindset is. That 11th house, on a universal scale, is the groups, the memberships that you are part of, like the Outer World Society. Your committees, your groups, your memberships, anything, your work friends. Venus is making it extra sensitive. Saturn is pushing on the rules, walls, and boundaries, showing you where it's uncomfortable, where it is or is not supporting the goals, dreams, and ambitions, where it is the correct soul tribe, and where it is so not the soul tribe, but the soul cage. Unpredictably showing you, hey, let me show you what is going on here, but it's unpredictable because it's up to your free will to do this right. There is no right or wrong here. You can jump the gun with all that other negativity and go against yourself, or you can come into your power and have been in that higher consciousness and learn. But it is showing itself as being uncomfortable and sensitive and pushing on you to see if you learn. It is getting along great, though, with Jupiter and Juno. Juno, again, on the third eye, and in the ears themselves, speaking to you about sacrifice and commitment and the character of who and what you are, creating your muchierness, creating your character, showing the world. The first house is also technically a sun house. It illuminates who you are versus who the world sees you are. So are you able to bring these two together at this time? Be able to create the character, the muchierness, and bring it into fruition and start showing the world who you are, what you will be responsible for, what you won't, where you will not be. You just put that all on my back. That's okay, I got it. No. It is speaking to you about listening to your heart, creating the life you want, not the one that was you've been forced to settle with because you're still an autopilot. This is all about teaching you to get out of autopilot and get into the higher consciousness. You have Mercury, which just came out of retrograde. It's definitely still in shadow energy, still in that outer authority in Capricorn. Very unpredictable energies with Neptune, meaning it can definitely pick up on the negatives and start creating all over again. Into Neptune energy and Pisces is all about fantasy and reality. Fantasy smacks you in the face with harsh reality. Makes you open up your eyes and see the truth. But you're talking about communication and the darker aspect of the outer world messing with you and how you create your magic. And then from there, it sextiles Venus and it sextiles Pluto. So you can take that sensitivity to step into your power or to bury yourself in it. It's up to you. I'm just telling you what's here in the astrology. You have that Mercury is not getting along with the sun in that 11th house now. The groups and the memberships, the committees of that outer authority. You may want to start coming into what is best for you, but that does not necessarily mean that everybody else wants what's best for you, because they want what's best for them. And that's normal. But where are you going to stand in that power? Are you going to illuminate and say okay for them? Or are you going to meet a middle? You know, there's got to be an ebb and a flow here. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make something go away. Anyway, then when you have Mercury, it won't move. Okay. Then you have Mercury, which is having very unpredictable energies with the North Node. And it is not getting along with that second house. So that's that communication, the outer world, the outer authority, your jobs, your work, your commitments from that outer world, telling you how your life has to be dealt with, how you will rule or not rule your life. And this is the North Node speaking to you about your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom, your inventive energy, and being able to create yourself over and over again by speaking in your power, by harnessing your power, controlling your emotions. This is definitely getting into this month, but these next few months are definitely coming into you are the king or queen of your own kingdom. If it's not being ruled the way you like it, it's time to realize what rulings you're doing incorrectly so that you can get into that dignity, so you can get into that, you know, power and start moving yourself forward. It's not getting along with Lilith, giving your heart the chance, giving your creativity the chance to do what you love, to enjoy what you love, but to do what they're forcing on you, putting more restrictions on you. I have to work 7 days a week. I got to work 5 days a week because I can't pay the bills. I'm exhausted. All of us have been there, but at some point you've got to push back. At some point you've got to love yourself enough to go, I need to do some of this for me. That's what a lot of this energy is. The king or queen that you are. Are you going to wear a heavy crown or not? It is speaking also with the South Node. So it's the North Node, Lilith, and the South Node. Everything you need to learn about what you're comfortable with, because changing means you actually have to do something. You're stuck with believing that this is the way the relationships were meant to be, and that this is acceptable, that these are the kind of relationships, the best you can have. But is your heart happy? Are you getting what you want out of life? It is going right back to that communication of going, I'm in shadow for a reason. I'm in shadow for a reason. I've moved direct. I'm trying to help you to see where you're still allowing that darker energy to ride your mind, for that mind chatter to destroy you. I'm showing you how to catch it when it's happening and shut that shit down. You've got Mercury, which is getting along great with Uranus, your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom, coming into some of that independence, some of that feeling strong and powerful within yourself. It is trying to help you stand in your power, believe in yourself. Mercury is not getting along with Jupiter or Juno either. Believing in your character, believing in starting a new cycle, believing in taking the chance. Like I said, we're moving forward, but it's still morning coffee. You haven't fully seen everything. You're feeling lighter, but this is not the time to get comfortable, because you'll get put right back into the same place. This is noticing where you need to start making these steps up now and make these corrections. Mercury is not getting along with Venus or Saturn, which is that outer world, that outer authority. Speaking of manipulating you, taking advantage of you. I say this all the time. The jobs are like, well, you know, your big boss is off on the boat and he put it off on this person and this person and this person. Eventually got all the way down to the little man. The little man doesn't get to have any time with their friends, any time with their family, any time, because you got to work. No, at some point you've got to push that shit back up the hill. I'm not responsible for that. You are. And start taking back your life. This is speaking about not being pushed around, but stepping in the sensitivity to know where it's not good and to know where and how to correct it, know where and how to speak it properly so that you can make the changes. You also have that Mercury's not getting along with Mars, which is getting along great with the Sun. Your warrior is still being remotely controlled by Mars's retrograde shadow and communication. I don't know. And that's what I mean. Mars, your inner warrior. He's starting to come back into feeling like he's ready to talk, but is he? Your warrior, your inner SWAT team, your inner fire, but that communication, still seeing darker aspects, putting it in that idea, then putting it onto the Sun, going, maybe you're wrong. That's wrong. The Sun is illuminate the way you see the world as well as the way the world sees you, but are the two of them matching? And this is the key here. Is the energy that's going on inside of you the same energy and the truth that's going on outside of you? This is part of what we're looking at, being responsible for our actions, being responsible for our energies, being responsible for our muchierness, for our self-realization here, self-mastery here. This is a big, slow moment of important movement of forward. You have the Sun, which is not getting along with Neptune. Again, the Sun is in that 11th house now. The groups, the memberships, the committees, your goals, your dreams, your ambitions. Is it your soul tribe, or is it a soul tribe, or is it like a soul prison? Speaking to who the character of you are, how you view the world, your identity. Do you feel like you're in a soul prison? These are all keys. It is not getting along then with the North Node, making you feel like this is the only way it's ever been, it's the only way it ever can be. So just believe it. No, this is autopilot teaching you to get out of that autopilot, teaching you to be responsible for your thinking process. Don't see the negatives only. You have a choice every day. And this is a Hebrew thing. You have a choice every day. Every day is either a punishment or like a blessing. I'm not telling you to ignore the bad things, but pay more attention to the blessings. You have that Mars, which Mars energy is getting along great with the sun. Illuminating how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your character, starting to make you feel like you're coming back into power, but it is still being tweaked by the negative. So it's acknowledging where that negative autopilot is keeping you in the communication, still in a lower perspective, even though it's starting to make you feel more secure again. Where are you tapping into the lower vibration versus, you know what, I do got this. Like I was saying right in the beginning, the blue avians came forward and were speaking to me in the sense of, why aim so low? Why believe so small? You could do this, but you still think you're only at this level. That is, you know, autopilot. We've got to start taking responsibility for that autopilot, shutting it down, and then sending it through our chakras. Oh, shit. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. My phone's doing some weird shit. Okay, I'm sorry. But it's taking responsibility for this and moving ourselves forward. This is a very powerful, important time, but you've got to know how to follow the instructions. You've got Venus and Saturn, which are not getting along with Mercury or with Jupiter and Juno. That's that 11th house. Your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, manipulation, soul tribe, or soul prison. Speaking to your communication in the 10th house of the outer world. Is it trying to make you feel like you have no authority, or are you learning how to have authority, step in it freshly, securely, without being like a lion and animal, you know, attacking, getting ready to get out of a cage? This is why it's speaking to that Jupiter and Juno, sacrificing commitment to the character, to your muchierness, to who you are, to your depth. It is having very unpredictable energy with that North Node, because it all depends on how you believe. Can you believe big enough about yourself? It is getting along great with Neptune and with Pluto. But see, that's a double-edged sword. Neptune can create any magic, good or bad. Pluto can either amplify a whole new magic, a whole new life. As I walk through the shadow of death, I fear no evil, because I'm coming into my muchierness, coming into my power. It can never have been taken away from me. But it all depends on what Neptune did with it. Was Neptune getting the sensitivity from those rules, walls, and boundaries, from feeling like it was insecure or secure? Neptune can do anything. He's the soul's magic. So what are you sparking your soul's magic with? Security or insecurity? You've got Jupiter, which is sextiling Mars and the Sun, giving you amplified courageousness, amplified power, amplified believe in yourself, standing firm and tall, chest up, head up, believe in yourself. Right next to Juno, sacrificing commitment, believing in yourself. You've got the South Node, which is sextiling Mercury. This can go both ways too, a double-edged sword. South Node is everything you're good at, but it doesn't serve you anymore. It's not where there's any growth, speaking to Mercury. So it's the communication showing you where you keep standing in your own place. It's a sextile. It's meant to help you. But see, when there's too many sextiles, and there's a freaking ton of sextiles this week, sextiles mean the opportunity's there, but it ain't going to be there for long. And if you don't stand up, this is why we're given the lion. If you don't stand up in that power, if you don't have the bravery or the courage, you will miss the opportunity. Chiron is sextiling the North Node as well as Mars. The wounded healer, the North Node, and Mars. Also dealing with the heart chakra again, dealing with your communication again, dealing with your inner warrior again, dealing with healing what has been unrealized from your unconsciousness, that you just keep not acknowledging, because that's what Chiron is, the wounded healer. And it is speaking to the North Node about your liberation, your dignity, your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem, your independence, your power. It is all here. It's just, can you believe big enough? Can you be muchier enough? It's all here. It's just, can you step into it? You have very unpredictable energies also with the North Node and with Uranus. I mean, with Venus and Saturn. So, yes, it's going to be touchy-feely. It's going to be very sensitive, but it can be done. You have Neptune, which is having very unpredictable energies with Mercury. Your magic can create anything. Your soul spark can create anything. But will you believe in the communication of the darker side of you, or are you ready to see past it and know that you can have the authority in your own life by stepping into the power of speech? Pluto is fighting with Chiron. The authority of showing you from the beginning you can have had the power. You have Pluto, which is sextiling Venus. The sensitivity is going to be a little bit off the chain. It's going to be a little bit comfortable, feeling good. See, that's the problem. Normally, sensitivity makes you feel uncomfortable. This week is lightened, so it feels comfortable. That's your clue. If it's too comfortable, you're missing a very important key. Anytime that you're in your comfort zone, you're not growing. And with as many sextiles as we have, the comfort zone means you're about to miss the opportunity. You have Pluto, which is also sextiling that Neptune energy. The spark of your magic, taking it from your 12th house and beginning a brand new. Can you believe bigger? Can you aim for bigger? And lastly, you have Ceres, which nobody's going to be talking about, in your 7th house, which is not getting along with your Jupiter and your Juno. It's a typical 7th house problem. Stop putting yourself on the back burner and get on the scale. Libra energy is always about harmony, balance, and justice. But Libra energy always makes the mistake of creating harmony for everyone around them while they forget themselves. Choose to be on the scale. Choose to believe bigger. I love you guys. See you next week.